Good day everybody, welcome to our Wastewater Management Committee meeting for May. At this stage we have not got a quorum, so we're going to have a delay for a while, probably a quarter of an hour, maybe half an hour at the most, and then we will reconvene our meeting after that. Good day everybody, welcome to the Wastewater Management Committee meeting for May. And do we have any apologies?
Penny Brown?
Okay, we've got apologies from Penny Brown. All those in favour?
Aye.
We got any declarations of interest? Confirmation of non-confidential minutes from our last meeting. On page 4. Everyone happy with the meeting, with the minutes? Someone happy to move the minutes? Moved by Ronald, seconded by Colin. All in favour? The action register. And it's on page 9. And that's bringing Jeff in to talk about Drainwise, which is here, so that'll be on the first agenda item. Welcome, Jeff.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I've got our governance work plan. It's straightforward. There's no leave of absence, no acknowledgements and tributes, is there? Public input and petitions, there's none. Extraordinary business, there's none. Notice of motion. All of new business, so we'll go straight to page 12 for the Drainwise program update.
So if we can take the report as read, I can respond.
I've got some questions relating to page 14 and 16 when it comes to public drains on private property. And there's another 14 to come. What's the consultation process that you go through for when you're doing public drains on private property, and what's the maintenance regime afterwards, if it's needed?
Consultation with the homeowners,
Yeah.
That's a critical part of it, to get approval for access, and working closely with those residents in regards to resolving issues that they already have.
Yeah.
So you haven't struck, in my time, resistance for it, just acceptance of it, in fact it's actually a benefit in keeping that stormwater away into the public network and stopping flooding and topping gully traps. And then so consultation is the, after a project's identified, is the next critical step in that, working with property owners that are affected and gaining permission to go forward with the project. Maintenance is fits within the schedule and is required. Also working with those property owners for gaining access to undertake those works as well.
Can property owners, are they able to be able to maintain those drains themselves if it's on their property? If they look like they're blocked or they've been filled in, are they allowed to?
So I would say, for the safe side of things, the above ground stuff,
Yeah.
I think where we've got pipes.
Yeah. Is there any other questions on that?
Thank you for the report. It is scary when you see that we've rescued, since 2022, we've rescued how many houses? 725,000 houses. Sorry, 7,250 houses worth of runoff. Also on page 15.9, properties inspected, it's good to see that run rate's gone up considerably in the last 3 months, from 236 previous to, 236 previously to 351 in the last period. So that's like everybody's ramped up, which is good to see. There's a lot of ground cover, isn't there?
huge, isn't it? Huge project. It's been ongoing for quite a long time to come to get on top of it.
Yeah.
Is there a question just about the Wainui pump station, the increase in that? We're seeing some good results from what's happening so far, particularly after the last rainfall event, where we did even, that was a major rainfall event, quite normally we would open the valves up, but we didn't this time because of handling capacity. So this work on the pump station that's going to be done now to increase its pumping capacity, that's going to just make things even better.
Constant process of refining the network to have improved flows so that we're maximising the capacity at the wastewater treatment plant as well, so it gets to it, so we're removing restrictions from wastewater flowing through while in conjunction with removing stormwater out of the system. So it's a multi-tiered approach to resolving these issues.
When will that that's going to be done with construction year coming up, 25?
The plan is, yeah, it would sit within this next budget year. It's in a key arterial route, so there's careful planning around that to ensure that we get the benefits of the work and minimise impact on residents and traffic flows through that area. It's near the pump stations on this side of, the other side of Wastewater Bridge.
Yeah, on the Wainui side.
I'm going to move the paper. And just one question around point 46, page 21. Just interested to know, I mean, there's a huge amount of work to do ahead. How do you decide what prioritises the next zone? Is there something that indicated that this place is more urgent than another? Or do you just choose to go through the program?
In regards to, sorry, which work?
So this is the wastewater mains.
Pretty much determined at the moment by size of the network in regards to the main, the sub-main, and the age of the network, which in a lot of this work that has been completed this week has been given that most of those pipes are around 1916 in terms of age, and there's been work down through the Stanley Road area, also due to age and also the main height as well. So it's kind of an assessment of this criteria and stepping it way through, so you're getting the best benefit of the impact on the network and maintaining that critical service.
Thank you.
No, we've got Jeff here to explain about going door to door, knocking on doors, and identifying where work needs to be done and what his response is with the public. So, Jeff's job is really critical about finding out of properties that have been that have caused some problems with our system. So, Jeff, would you like to come up and?
Yeah, normally a couple of us is me and either one of my daughters or another girl who's with me. It's good to have the two of us because we get in some situations. Some of the things are just challenges for me. I've got locked gates, can't get through them, can't check the property. I've got shut gates with just shut and it's what's behind there. And then dogs is a big issue for me.
How do we work through those ones in your experience?
Maybe you've got to help these people because we don't want the water going down the gully trap. We want it out of there because if it's a whole roof, only three roofs on that road, you block the sewer mains. So we've got to work with them people and we've got to help them somehow. There were mentions in the past of going on rates and things like that. The cost goes onto the rates, so we help them. They need some form of help so we can help them get them out.
What sort of cost per house are we looking at for that?
You can range from $100 to maybe $2,500 on some of them, and that's cheap compared to what a lot of people are charging out there. Yeah, so it could range. There could be a range there, but if we got them all out, it's going to make a hell of a difference to the sewer system anyway. The wastewater system, it'll make a hell of a difference. In my trials, I found all sorts of ones. I found some good ones. I found the downpipe off the roof going straight to the stormwater outlet, which was blocked at the street, which we tried to help the person. And on further investigation, it was just pure luck. It'd been a damp morning. I saw a pipe dripping. So they cut a perfect square under the brand new downpipe that dropped in the gully trap. So I took it off and I bought it in here, and we had it as somewhere near Uleo somewhere. There was a piece there showing us what lengths people go to. And down on another road, I found 3 downpipes laid on the floor. And in a rain event there, I just mocked them up to see how they were, and they're going straight down the gully trap. So they use it in the rain event. So as soon as it rains, they put these dummy downpipes up which take the water off the property because they don't want a wet back garden. Sneaky downpipes.
So, in your opinion, is it predominantly the owner or is it the contractors that are doing the dodgy work?
I found one home on London Street that had been put in incorrectly, so we got them to remove it. Homeowners and maybe roofers, maybe plumbers. There was an occasion, I won't name the address, but on Tollerton, I went down there, 6 months ago, checked Tollerton Avenue out, and everything was sweet as. And then I know some of the healthy home guys in Gisborne, they gave me a ring and say, Jeff, is this compliant with the council? I went back and rechecked, and they'd taken all the stormwater nicely under the house and put it down both gully traps at the back. So we worked with somebody and we made them remove it, and then they brought it out to the road, which was the correct way. But I think they paid about $1,000 to take it to the back. Then they had to pay a further $3,000-4,000 to get it to the front. There's a lot of education out there needed, and a lot of work with the plumbers and drain layers to say this is what we don't want. But at the moment they're all busy and they're all flat out. Whether you get them in a room like this is another thing. You may not. It might be sort of visiting each one individually, and we talk to them and say this is not acceptable.
Just a question. Are those tradies required to keep a spec in relation to what our regulations are for stormwater and downpipes?
No.
So there is
Anybody
no
can do it.
profession where they have to be aware
Bob
of,
the Builder can do it. And Bob the Builder is doing it.
but not the way we want it done.
No, the Grundy Street person, I asked for the name of the roofer and he wouldn't give it to me. So I said, it's not going to be a horrible conversation. I just want a conversation around why we don't do it. No, I couldn't get that person. So what's happening? All the rain is going on the roof, getting into the downpipes, flooding out, going all around the property and just flooding the property because their curb outlet is block solid with mud. But it's theirs, it's not ours, it's theirs. So they should be unblocking them. But it doesn't happen.
But I just recognise from council that the work you've done contributed to the massive improvement in performance. It's been fundamental for that for us. And it is, and I just want to give you that recognition.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm interested what does happen. I was Three Waters manager for the city for 12 years at Fulton Hogan, so I enjoy my job. I like getting out there. I like interacting with people and trying to solve the problem if we can. I am interested.
How many people are in your team, Jeff?
The 2 of us. I've got a daughter at uni, and I've got another daughter who's up in theatre at the hospital. When they're off, they help me.
Right. So,
Helpers.
right. So is there any properties that you've identified that you can't get in and won't be able to, and they've got a major problem? You know,
Well, can't get in, so I won't know if they've got a major problem.
Yeah, so there is properties out there that you can't access because of the landowner or the property owner doesn't want you there.
Yeah, there are some.
They're non-compliant. Oh, Jeff, yeah, congratulations to you and your team. Fantastic job, and we're certainly seeing the results of that hard work. It's so important. We've got to get those pipes out of the store, out of the gully traps, and out of our wastewater network. and the work that you've been doing, and certainly we can see the results. So fantastic. Thank you so
What we
much.
actually do as well is we go out with the smoke tester, which is a fog machine. It's a disco fog. We stick that down the sewer mains and find out if anyone's got any illegals on that. We do find a few. And then Leo suggested the other week that we do it the opposite way, try it on the stormwater to see if that system is working correctly. And so we never actually used it in anger on the stormwater, only the sewer. So that's probably going to be a next phase when I've finished Kitey. Start with that. Start with the fog machine and see what we get, see what results we get out of that. We've had a lot of problems at the schools, but some major problems at some of the schools. Big roof areas going straight down the sewer.
Yeah.
I think there was one at the White Kirikiri, I got that corrected. There was one at Girls High, that's been corrected. There's one at Lytton Road, we got that corrected, and then one here on Delator Road at Ilminster. There's a major one there, but they've just had all the new pipe work in.
Yeah.
So I got a call off the contractor and I showed him which pipe, and it was smoking well when I put it down the sewer, so it was a massive roof area. So that would have kept a lot of water out of the system.
It's quite amazing, that smoke system. I've been on a trip a few years back. And yeah, when you see a place that's got cracked pipes and all of a sudden all the smoke's just coming out of the wall.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, thank you so much for that. So, is there any other questions to do with this paper, the Drainwise paper?
You know, brought up there that roofers, builders, plumbers are playing a bit of a part in this. Are we doing anything to educate and promote correct use? And should we be threatening them and saying, look, if you're caught, we're going to hang you?
Yeah, well, that's...
And they're a much smaller number to deal with than the whole population. I know I brought this up before, but you know, this is a small group that should know better.
Yeah, exactly.
We have got on that one, Centre Manukam along here, who's our Wastewater Stormwater Network team leader, who's been working with the Plumbers Association, Master Plumbers Association around getting the groups together, and even just recently there was workshops held with various members more around stormwater as a general, where plumbers, roofers, etc. were present in that one too. This is an ongoing education program, and it's getting wrapped into the program coming out as well, getting that engagement, getting it together. So it can't have to be a repetitive thing, not one-off.
This lady at the waste depot, she sits there all day telling people about the tops. You know, take your tops off your bottles, all the bottles, and the consequences. So you know, she's the every day informing
Regular.
and then at the end of the day, change.
So nothing on the stick. No, we're encouraging, but not.
When we're talking about what happens on the property, yes, there is, and we'll do a report for the next committee meeting, but we have now just we've got a process in place in regards to the Building Act, and actually there's the requirement that wastewater and stormwater must be separated and they must be going to an appropriate outlet. So that's the stick in regards to bringing it back to the homeowners, and for those that are not enabling us access, there'll be a process that we go through about that. This is around the 95.5 rule, where those ones we put to the side and we come back to them, and the key thing is keeping that flow process through at the moment, and then the difficult ones we're coming back to it and moving through. But there's a process we have in place for those that have those downpipes in them. Like we talked about last time, it's a solution-focused approach of getting them out. If no one likes the solutions or there's a resistance to doing anything, then we have a process that we work through. And in regards to those contractors that are doing it, the same thing, working through a process with them. At least with the homeowner, it's on their property, but that in itself, by working with the homeowner, that's not appropriate, also impacts on that contractor, and we'd be talking with them as well.
So unfortunately, homeowners might end up paying twice. Pretty much all cases that's what be happening. How's the compliance for new builds versus renovation?
Oh, new builds are perfect. Well, except for some of them new Kangor homes up Tyndall Road, I can't even see the gully traps.
But new builds are generally compliant, and it's generally other stuff that.
Yeah, generally, I did see some new builds somewhere where the gully traps, the concrete footpath didn't lay level with the gully trap so water could run in. But to raise that gully trap, you wouldn't get the compliance with inside the house, because if you raised it, then you'd run the sewer back into the house, so you can't raise it.
Okay, so the
So you're
full,
stuck with it.
so the path level's too high for the front wall level.
Something went wrong there.
That's a big issue too.
Yeah.
But generally that compliance happens at that stage, and it's just in the grey where it's all happening. You know,
It was compliant when the building inspector went round, but when the concreter went round, it changed.
Yeah.
I know a plumber drain layer, and I ain't going to mention any names, but I checked his house, and his gully trap would have been perfect, but when the concreter went round to his house, they concreted, so all the water fell into the gully trap, and he's a plumber drain layer. I had words with him, and he's working out how he's going to get away from it, because he's got a big yard all sloping towards the gully trap. If you put an extender on it, then he's got a pond in brand new concrete, or he's got to run a drain off the concrete. That's on it, but he said he wasn't there when the concrete was laid, and he's a good plumber drain layer.
So that would have been done on purpose by the plumbers, because they know that they do all their levelling and all that kind of stuff beforehand. So
They don't know. They don't know what that round thing is. They don't know whether it's a gully trap or it's a stormwater outlet. He didn't know. There's a true way. Just get down and smell it. Then you know what it is. Well, things are happening out there.
Yeah.
A lot of different things.
I've got one more question actually before we do leave this paper. On page 20, the map of the aged pipes, and it looks like the oldest pipes are in and in the CBD. Is there a reason why they are going to be left last to get replaced or upgraded, or is it? What's the reason behind that?
On that one above, when we look at what has been renewed and what renewed in this year, those were the older ones. Now we're down into the next above. So it's a progression.
So there's no reason why those ones are left to last. They're still
No, it's just
workable condition.
it's a sequence thing of working progressively through from a risk perspective. Bigger pipes first that service multiple homes, then coming down through, but definitely by age
Yeah.
is a key leader. But if it's a lateral that services one home, well, that's not a focus, it's ones that service multiple.
Sometimes with networks, particularly around the fringes, you need to move more towards reactive than to proactive.
Yeah.
Because they're serving such a smaller amount, it becomes often a fair management practice to run to failure if you're servicing less, and less fair when you're in like key transmission areas. So that's what I say, if you only got a couple of houses, then it's usually not the same deal as the other thing.
That's good. All right, have we got any other comments to be made about this paper? So I had a mover from Councillor Alder, seconded by Angus. All those in favour?
Aye.
Okay.
So I've take the report as read. Any questions? There'll be some on this one.
Righty. So do we have any questions for Leo before coming back to report? I've got a question. It's to do with the 12 samples that have been taken and they were achieved, 7 of which were compliant, and I'm just wondering what happened to the other 7, the other 5.
So that averages, to bring this into context, these results are without the tertiary filters.
Yeah, yeah,
So the other fives, the average is 32 milligrams.
yeah.
So without the filters forming, the target's 30, very close to it.
Right.
So the other samples are just a general trend that exists with wastewater. It's never perfect. Right. But what it shows is the optimisation the team have done over the last several months has given consistency in regards to that performance.
Yep.
And so having 7 of them sitting at or below 30 milligrams is a very good result.
Oh, congratulations, that's awesome. So yeah, without the tertiary filters, we're still being compliant.
We are still, we've got good consistency.
Yeah, and when the tertiary filters get sorted, it's an ongoing saga.
Gold standard.
we'll be even better. Yeah. Fantastic.
A couple of questions. What I can't find it now, but was it in this report where we're putting in bigger pumps that's improving the movement?
I was in the Drainwise report looking at that. But certainly that's a continuous program within the wastewater network. Not so much bigger pumps to a point, but more efficient pumps that ensure that there's continuity and flow.
Next question about chemicals that are used in is the restriction on the toxicity and the resulting outflow into the sea, and it's the toxicity of the chemical.
The chemicals in general, when it comes to when we're looking, are we talking about with regard to cleaning of the filters or?
Yeah, there was a cleaning order for the filter plates.
Yeah.
Oh, that's within the, yes. So that's around the cleaning. The question around the chemicals is the impact on the biological trickling filter. We've got Tracy here. We have that very delicate balance of that biological activity in there and incorrect chemicals going through there can what they do, which is kill off that. There's small amounts overall. It's not a big impact on what's moving through, but it's the consequential effect of on the BTF. So Tracy, leading her team, are focused on softer chemicals, those ones being citric acid, which works well in cleaning the item and doesn't have an impact on
Those are native been considered ever.
maybe Tracy, do you want to?
So hydrogen peroxide would be, it's a really good cleaner and it does dissociate in water after a while. The downside, I guess, is that from where we're doing the cleaning to where the BTF is, there's not a lot of time between it and getting to the BTF. So the issue is it potentially wouldn't break down, so it could knock back the BTF. So we have used sodium hypochlorite, which is just pool chlorine. That was actually enough to knock off the BTF. There's other ones suggested, hydrochloric acid and oxalic acid as well. So we have got handling issues and also got potential issues again because you don't have time to dissociate that fully in water by the time it gets to the BTF. By the time it gets back to the ocean, that's a different story, but that first hit on that BTF is the concern. So, and hydroperoxide also has a few handling issues as well, because you're just talking about what concentration you need to be able to do what you need to do as well. Some chemicals work on sort of the biological aspect, so if there's biological fouling, and some work on chemical, so whether that's iron or calcium. So, so the chemical we choose is kind of got to be quite specific for the type of fouling in those filters.
I've asked this before, but is there any work going behind the scenes about use and disposal of this nice, beautiful, nearly pure water, rather than being water out at sea all the time? I mean, I think we've worked a lot on this in the past. I know I've heard murmurs of things that are moving in some directions, but there's nothing. Is there anything tangible that we can kind of hang some hope to?
Actively working with the Kiwa Group / Tangata Whenua Reference Group, and actually met on that last Tuesday around reviewing historically what has occurred and working through as a group what those critical topics are to move forward with going ahead. So that will bring reports within this space as that starts to get momentum. So there's a definite focus on in that space. Obviously, a lot of our focus has been on finishing the stage 2 project. Equally, as that the group has formed, there, and we've met several times this year, there's a lot of movement.
That's good. A lot of conversations happening with the community. That's important. So, we're in such a nice position to have excess water, which not many other communities can say they have. So, recycled water is a whole new form of liquid gold. And congratulations to staff and everyone for getting our new wastewater treatment upgrade and on budget. Just slightly over. It's understandable that it is slightly over, just because of the problems that they've had in getting everything compliant. But certainly within the scope that we hope. So fantastic.
Yes, and we're exposed to a position of understanding with the suppliers of the tertiary filters as well.
Yeah.
A lot of work from the team over these last few weeks since our last meeting as to getting that collective understanding and the testing that is required to do that. So I hope in the next report to be able to update.
Thank you. Right, any more questions to do with the wastewater treatment plant? Seems happy. All right, we've got a mover. Moved by Councillor Holder, seconded by Councillor Tibble. All those in favour? Right, we'll go to our last paper. It's the local water's done well. And that's on page 34. We've had this paper through council, so councillors will be pretty familiar with the paper. But for those
set as an information report, just informing the history behind local water's done well and why we ended up with those two options. So we went out for consultation through April and also pre-consultation from about October last year, and then flowed into the hearings session last week, and the model that was adopted by council being the water LA status program. So it's just for the members of the Wastewater Management Committee bringing that to the fore because it's a critical part obviously of wastewater.
getting ready for our water services delivery plan to be sent to government.
Yep. First to third council though.
Yeah. Any questions on this paper?
Just a comment. I mean, it's good that comment 19 states that, you know, we start with this, we're not locked in, we can progress to another model. And, you know, I think that's good.
Yeah.
We can suck it and see if it's not working, we can move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have forming relationships with, and we already have relationships with contingent councils nearby us, whether they're north or south.
Yep.
The Hawke's Bay is now consulting on a combined model.
A what model?
So the Hawke's Bay amalgamated model for water. So that includes, presently includes Wairau District, includes Hastings District, and Napier City, Central Hawke's
And
Bay.
St George's Bay, yeah.
So considerable chunk there, and Otaki seem to be go it alone but interested in talking, and there's a potential there to link with some of their neighbours as well. So I think this will be a journey for us, but in going forward, not to close off options and ideas. We have a we're naturally geographically separated, but so much of what we do is backroom licensing, training and other elements and human resource opportunities, etc., that aren't readily considered when we're talking about water. We're normally talking about fixing our pipes, and that will have to happen locally. No, not very easy to geographically. It's not as if someone's going to pop over from Waikiki with a Wairua might be a bit different. We can share resources between parts, but yeah, we think people's understanding of water will mature a lot under the regulatory requirements, because the whole country will be reporting similar metrics, and then over time it allows us to get a little bit more focused on where the real challenges are. Our region is a bit different from our neighbours who tend to be growing a bit quicker than us and have potentially less latent capacity in the networks than we do. We don't have any massive Manhattan-like expenditure in our near horizons like many others do, which force them towards a different financial model, a model that can handle debt a bit better than just the council model. So that's a bit of a benefit, but it's also been some big decisions might be available in the future. Our feedback, and Leo will back me up here, it was really subdued, and because of that subdued, the two options presented to the community weren't creating any division or divisiveness. They were both generally probably acceptable, but the community selected to go with the loan model, one we promoted. But there was no massive groundswell of opinion. Otherwise, it was not the topic on our public's mind at the moment. It might have been different where we're looking for development. So we don't know what that feels like.
A region that is used to doing it alone, and you know, we've got neighbours far away, so it just makes things that much difficult to align. But, yeah, I think we're heading in the right direction. It's off just, and like Colin said, we can look at it later on if we think CCO might be a better option. It's something that we can look at down the track. So the governance side of things that'll all come in with the work plan, the delivery, water services delivery plan that goes to government.
Governance is an important question that we're going to have to address. It's not dealt with in the operations.
No.
But that will be a focus for, I guess, the rest of the year.
Because the new water entity or the water entity becomes live from the 1st of July 2027, so that enables between now and well, before that point to work through what does.
So there were submissions on that subject.
Yeah, and obviously, I'm connected to involved with it as a major development.
Yes.
Yeah, one comment. I guess probably the strongest resistance came from sort of the Kata iwi, or had the water supply. And one of their fears was perhaps lack of involvement in the process. I'm just interested to ask two gentlemen to the right, if you think we can go down this path in-house and still have sufficient Maori engagement. Putting you on the spot a bit.
I'll give it a go.
You'll give it a go.
Yeah, and I'm not speaking for either Romo Whakata or Ngāi but council will be aware that there have been discussions around the source for some time. And I understand they both had bilateral agreements with council anyway, so the engagement is tool for usual engagement. Then you've got the treaty settlement entity. I think there's tools there, Connor, for engagement together.
Yep.
What the work plan looks like, between the unions inside, I think that would be a high priority. Along with anything. So, yeah, and we think that there's a solution, so conversation is key.
Yep.
Right, any other conversations about local waters done well? We're all pretty happy about where we're going? Okay, have I got a mover then? Moved by Angus, seconded by Councillor Tibble. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. That will close our meeting. Thank you all.